Since we're heading into 2025, what are some of the innovative guerrilla marketing tactics that Canadian startups can use to gain attention?
I'll go first. It depends on the type of product you have. It's I know that sounds like a typical marketing answer, but that's exactly what you're going to get. So, because I mean, if you're talking about a brand that is specific to consumers, go wherever the consumers are. Street pop-ups are still a thing. I was watching, I think it was breakfast television, I think, or maybe it was CB24 in the morning, and they had the Lotto Max um, pop up downtown somewhere, and they had people dressed as the balls that go into the machine to pick the numbers, and they were wandering around downtown, right? So I mean, find a way to do stuff like that. That's going to get attention for sure, 100%. So I mean, there's ways to do it. It just depends on the nature of the product that you have and the type of customers you're trying to reach.
Mark?
I don't know if dinners and drinks count as guerrilla marketing, but I think back to some of the early marketing that FreshBooks did. Saul Colt, who is a sort of marketing genius, mad genius, organized these dinners. They used to go on the road and do dinners. And I think it's just one way of thinking out of the box and connecting with your customer on a really personal level and doing something that's not the regular B2B channel. So, just different types of marketing that really gets you close to your customer, I think is a really good way to go.
Daniel?
Yeah, I love that piece about those events because you're really able to like build relationships and people have a memory. Like I smiled when you said Saul Colt's name because I saw him at a Fuck Up Nights recently in Toronto and I had heard about him years ago from his content. I still remembered his style and his voice. So you can definitely make an impression from that perspective. Yeah, when it comes to other guerrilla marketing tactics, I would say again, focusing on the key areas because it's useless to do it in like the most populous area just because it's a lot of people. You want to go if you're targeting students and young people, go to campuses. That's a huge thing to do. Hand out stickers, giveaways, that kind of thing. Use QR codes, whatever you got to do. But one thing that I love, and this is a creative thing that I've talked to a lot of organizations about too, like nonprofits, is like do something, an activation, publish art, anything like that that you can use as content. So it doesn't just have to serve the needs of that initial, promotion of guerrilla marketing, but you then have really unique content as a result of that. And, we've seen that with like flash mobs and other kinds of things, but back in the day, but still people are doing public art and pop-ups and street interviews. It's still guerrilla marketing. People are finding out about the products and services. And sometimes on top of that, you also get that user feedback, that potential customer research by doing that. So that'd be my recommendation there for guerrilla marketing.
Nyima?
Yeah, I actually love that Daniel mentioned street interviews because for one of the insurance, like we work with one of the insurance Canadian insurance company, and one of the things that we did to spice things up, instead of talking about the difference between term versus whole life insurance, which I'm tired of or writing about, is we went to the streets and we just talked to Canadians, and we just talked to Canadians about, hey, do you have life insurance? And they're like, are you trying to sell me insurance? I'm like, no, I'm not, ma'am. I am a marketing person, so I don't have any insurance license. I can't sell you anything. Like, okay, let me talk to you. Then you talk to them, and it just kind of like you realize how many people don't have life insurance, and also what kind of perception the public has of life insurance. Because we had a bunch of people just on camera say life insurance is this or life insurance that. And some people thought life insurance cost $500. The reason I'm giving you these specifics is because when you do these street interviews, it's always fun because you get to hear like them raw. They're not expecting to pop into a crazy lady that's like asking them about life insurance. And the other thing I always love to do is be dancing, like, kind of like adding to the TikTok, viral marketing and like creating something that can be copied or asking questions that, typically people want to answer. So if you have a dating app or something, asking questions that leading with an answer and then asking a question, that always works. So, it's one of those things where you can now like do guerrilla marketing, but make it interactive with social to kind of make it even amplify further. That I love about, this question.
I worked with a soccer league in Toronto, and they took my SEO course, and we had a call to when you search soccer league in Toronto, they wanted to become the number one ranked one. And we talked about a few things. And one of the things I said, well, I'd suggest, because of what you are, a guerrilla marketing technique, and mine would be kick a politician for charity. And we'd get balls with politicians' face on it, local politicians, that people would pay $5 to kick the ball, because it's soccer. And when we talked about it a fair bit, they got local politicians to come out, and they raised a whole bunch of money, and they got a whole bunch of press and and they quickly ranked in SEO, just because, it was something obviously that works for everyone on a weird level. So there are ways people can do these things. And, sometimes you need to talk to a marketing expert or someone else outside the box. Most founders are way too close to their product when they think about marketing. They're always talking about speeds and feeds and the complexity of the back end and all this stuff. So I would suggest talking to one of these wonderful people or someone in your community that can help you develop your marketing plan and strategy and make sure you're not focused on the wrong things.